Welcome back to Thone's Nibbles number 94, coming from Acts chapter 5, a wise counselor. There's a little bit more reading than normal in this one, so I'll jump right into it. This is reading Acts 5, verses 34 through 39. Then one in the council stood up, a Pharisee named Gamaliel, a teacher of the law and held in respect by all of the people, and commanded them to put the apostles aside for a little while. And he said to them, "Men of Israel, take heed to yourselves what you intend to do regarding these men. For some time ago, Judas rose up, claiming to be somebody. A number of men, about 400, joined him. He was slain, and all who obeyed him were scattered and came to nothing. After this man, Judas of Galilee arose, up in the days of the census, and drew away many people after him. He also perished, and all who had obeyed him were dispersed. And now I say to you, keep away from these men and let them alone. For if the plan of this work is for men, it will come to nothing. But if it is of God, you cannot overthrow it, lest you even be found to fight against God." An important lesson here. Gamaliel describes the potential dangerous results. Now, first of all, you may have heard the name Gamaliel spoken elsewhere in the New Testament, and it is the same Gamaliel. Gamaliel was the teacher of Saul of Tarsus, who later became the Apostle Paul. So we know, and it says clearly here, he was highly respected by everybody. I mean, he clearly was a Pharisee. It says that, and for that matter, all these major teachers are Pharisees. But he was respected by Sadducees also, which is sort of an opposing sect, but that was mainly, the priests were mostly Sadducees. So he was respected by those. He was also respected by the people in general as being just a very wise man and a good teacher of the law. So they stood up and took notice when he warns them of the potential hazards of what they are considering doing. Questions and answers. Why is this in the Bible? To point out the danger of acting only upon emotion. And that was really what was going on. Some of the things that were being preached by Peter and John and James and some of the others were considered insults to the powers that be, and they were considering, permanently jailing them or executing them or whatever, and only based on the emotional reaction they had to the statements these people made. And that's not the way to go into battle against somebody or something, is with pure emotion. Who was this spoken to? The Jewish council in Jerusalem, and that was the people who was the same people who condemned Jesus and took him to Pontius Pilate to be saved, to be executed. But they listening to reason this time, whereas the other time they were not. Communication. In spiritual matters, it is very illogical to act based upon emotion. By definition, we react spiritually to spiritual matters, not emotionally, which almost always leads to physically in such matters of spirituality. Application to my life. We should consider all the potential consequences before taking action. This is very contrary to the no guts, no glory attitude of so many today. What does this tell me from God? How could you do anything else than be a follower of Jesus? That's what we're supposed to be. And if we react emotionally to a spiritual opinion being presented by a respected Bible scholar, then whether we're reacting in agreement with what he said or in disagreement with what he said, that's not what we're supposed to do. We look in the Bible and we see, is this what is being said true? Could it possibly be true? And so on. We are to be a follower of Jesus, and thus a follower of the Scriptures, and not an emotional wreck trying to take advantage of the situation. My personal response: Lord, guide me in what battles I should enter into and those which I should avoid. Again, to me, that's just plain logic. If you are friends, and we are friends if we are believers and saved people, why don't we listen to the Lord and ask, should I react to this in some way? Should I not react to this in some way? And I can, give you a very general outline of a situation which I had yesterday, which fits this perfectly. I can't tell you the people or exactly what it was about, but there was some information which our church needs to have, and I'm not going to go any further than that. But I mean, it's not improper information. It's information as for scheduling something, and I got a text message from one of our members telling me from reasonably good authority what the answer was, and I said, okay, I thank her. It was a lady, and then I got to thinking. I said, if it's that cut and dried, then why isn't it already published by the people who already knew the answer? So I did send a message to someone who clearly was authoritative in the answer of this, and was told, no, we're not publishing. I was going to publish it on our church's website and actually pass it on to another church who is also looking for the same information. And I asked him, is it okay for me to publish this information for our Facebook site and also for the Facebook site of this other church? And he said, no, don't do that. That is the current plan, but we really haven't even talked to the people who have the authority to say yes or no about that date and time. And so that was, the Lord warned me. It would have been really easy to just copy and paste some information from one from a text message into a Facebook and send it out, and everybody in the world thinks they know the truth, when in fact they may not. So the Lord did guide me in that, and He said, and I will probably be publishing today the correct information, because I had talked to the right person. I'm sure that person is now going to get in contact with me, and be sure as soon as the information is sure. So that's why it is important to follow the wise counsel of God, or the wise counsel of Gamaliel here. And and the truth is, whether Jesus was truly God's Son, or truly not God's Son, and whether Peter is truly one of the apostles or not truly one of the apostles, and so on. Gamaliel's wisdom here is still true, and that is that if God has sent somebody to do something, whether it be His Son or one of the apostles, or a disciple or a prophet or something, if God has sent somebody, then there's no way of preventing that information from getting out. However, if God did not send somebody and they claim to be it, they're going to trip up and be foolish for themselves, and you don't have to help them be foolish. So anyway, I guess that's today's lesson, and thank you, and we'll see you next.